All right, we're live. Welcome everybody to Wall Street Reporter's Discovery Day live stream, where we bring you those stocks with multi-bagger upside potential companies going after massive market opportunities at a key inflection point and with multiple catalysts in place for upside potential. Tom, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Jack.
Tom, so actually, Appia Energy really fits the bill. I mean, there's really multiple catalysts in place, massive opportunities. It's really, you have multiple projects, so you have multiple shots on goal, and it's all really part of supplying the critical resources for the technology age, whether it's the rare earths, which are being used in various aspects of technology, whether it's the uranium, which is becoming very hot right now. We're getting record prices in the last, I think we're seeing the highest price in, I think, 15 years. We went over $100, and of course we're going to need that uranium to power the electric vehicle boom. We're going to need electricity, which we are severely lacking. And of course, I think, Tom, as we mentioned last time, this really, I mean, this is going to sound a little bit crazy, but Appia Energy really is a pure play. I think people should look at it as a pure play on the AI and the crypto boom as well. Why? Because both of those things are going to require massive amounts of electricity. Crypto mining requires massive amounts of electricity. Artificial intelligence requires massive server farms, and the only way we're going to meet the electricity needs of those things is going to be with nuclear. That requires uranium. And of course, what are we at, $108, I think, for uranium right now?
Something like that, yes, Jack.
Yeah. So, Tom, we're going to talk about the uranium because you have a massive resource in North America. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But first, I think, really you're here to talk about the Rare Earths Project, which is happening in Brazil. You're getting some massive results. You have the champion laurel wreath above your head now, the golden, the champion wreath. So things must be good. Tom, let's get a quick recap of all the things that are happening right now with rare earths, the Rare Earths Project, and then we'll talk about the uranium because we haven't had you on in a couple of weeks.
Hi, Jack. First of all, thank you again. I'd like to just remind you that we changed the name from Appia Energy to Appia Rare Earths and Uranium Corp. So we don't want anybody confused. It's the same company. We just changed our name for a year or so ago. And you mentioned Appia Energy, so it's the same company. But thank you for the opportunity to discuss our project.
Tom, energy is the
yes.
But it is.
And both uranium and rare earths are they're clean energy. So the concept is there, Jack. We recently announced some reassaying on one of our drill holes down at the PCH project in Brazil. The hole 63. When we first announced the results, we had a lot of elements that were over the limit. In other words, they were higher than the detection limit of that process, assays that the lab did, SGS. And so we had to rerun some of the numbers. We had to rerun redo the assays to get the full picture. So if you want to start at the front, at the top here, this is our news release, and what we actually found here is that we.
Tom, let me just to recap the results. What you're saying is the results that you got, the assays were so off the charts, so positive that they asked you to redo them again.
Yeah, what the first analysis that we did, there is, the detection limit, it was maybe up to 10,000 parts per million, which is 1%. But some of the elements were way above that. And so we had to redo the assays with a different process. So
it's a positive. Just to make sure people understand, it's a major positive. This is not a negative.
Oh no, this is a major part because before we thought we had up to 2.9% total rare earth oxides. And now we found out that we've got 9.3% total rare earth oxide, which is unheard for a environment like this. So in other words, everything was positive. The first assays that we did, it was basically wasn't detecting all the rare earths, and we had to redo it, and we went from 2.9% to 9.3%. So everything is more than positive, Jack. Most important, yeah.
I want to mention a couple things, because again, we haven't had you on in a little while. We got new people who are going to be watching this. So rare earths, to recap, again, let's explain what they're used for. Right now, it's a critical resource. It's controlled by China. China owns most of the market for rare earths. They've been kind of not eager to let out the supply, because it's a strategic mineral. And of course, we have this kind of a lot of saber rattling happening with Taiwan and things like that. So there could be disruptions of rare earth supply. So the focus could swing sharply to the rare earth sector in the next couple of months. I'm just making that it's a potential catalyst that could really put this front and center for a lot of investors. Right now, it's kind of, I don't want to say on the back burner, but it's not front and center as it should be.
Well, rare earths are used in all the high-tech applications, or most of the high-tech applications. The main use for neodymium, praseodymium, a couple of the rare earths there, are used to build permanent magnets, which are used for electric vehicles and also for wind turbines. So you need these strong magnets to be able to have very strong batteries that you can have. The electric vehicles can have a good distance, driving distance. So, but the rare earths are used in everything. iPhones, telephones, AI. There's many applications, Jack, for rare earths.
It's really,
and China.
Yeah,
as you said, China controls the market, right?
Yeah, and I think, again, investors really need to understand that this is really, Appia Rare Earths and Uranium is it's really a pure play on the technology boom, because again, whether it's the uranium for the electricity, whether it's the rare earths for the EVs or the phones like this. These are critical resources. So this is like, it's almost like you're almost like a tech stock in a way. It's like a pure play, but also there's optionality. There's massive optionality.
Listen, to put it in a different perspective is, the world is undergoing a transition, like to clean energy, and rare earths are needed for this transition. So if we wanted, and the unfortunate part is the Western world doesn't have many sources of that, and relies on China, who basically supplies 80-90% of the market. And so the last few years, the Western government, the USA government, and Canada and Europe and Australia, everybody is moving. They want to see supply sources developed in the Western world. So there's projections that the supply, the demand for critical materials, because that's what it is, rare earths will be going up. Will be going up in the next few years, quite a bit, because of the, people understand that we're moving from the gas cars to electric vehicles. So that's a big push there, basically, and the plan is for the next 5-10 years to get all the way there, basically, the majority of the vehicles to be that way. So and when it comes to the PCH project in Brazil, the one that we have down there, it's a rare earths in clays, and it's an ionic clay environment, which is basically right on the top, starts at the top of the surface there, and within the 10-20 meters of surface, and usually deposits like this they're leachable. They're very easily extractable.
So the mining cost is low. So the cost to extract the material is going to be low.
The mining and the processing is low, and also usually when the rare earths come with radioactivity, thorium and uranium, and in most of the areas that's sort of an issue. So the PCH project so far, we've seen very low numbers on uranium and thorium. So, and we're very close to infrastructure. So it's a great project the way we see it so far, and so we're very excited. We're getting unusually high grade rare earths. I mean, well, there is actually the good news is there's another deposit in our area, in the same province, in the same area that we are, the Sierra Verde, and they just announced last week that they went into commercial production. Now there are, for comparison purpose, the average grade that the deposit that they're mining is about 1,200 parts per million per ton, and just to give you an idea, we're getting up to 94,000 parts per million. Okay, so we're not saying that the overall grade would be 94,000, but we're getting really extremely high grade results here. So I don't think the market has realized what is shaping up down there, and we're in the process of doing a 43-on-1 resource calculation estimation right now. So we hope in the next few weeks or a couple of months, we should be able to have our first resource estimate, and basically demonstrate to the market that we've got something very exciting. Now, and that's Brazil. And as I mentioned, we doubled the package, the claim area that we have. We had 17,000 hectares, and now we're just over 40,000 hectares. And what you see there is our target 4 area. That's about covers maybe 1,000 hectares. So we haven't really looked at the entire property or anything like this. So there's lots of upside, there's lots of potential here.
Okay. So really, not to use a pun, but you've basically just scratched the surface of this project. I mean, you've only touched like 1% or so of the land area. You're getting these massively off the charts high grades, which are better than a project that's going into production, I guess almost down the street, if you will. By the way, what's the market cap of that company, the one that's gone into production right now?
Well, that company is private. It's a private company. I think there's some rumor. It's a private company. Sorry?
Isn't there one that's like 300 million or so?
Well, no, there's another company that has a similar deposit or project in Brazil, and they have a market cap of $400 or $500 million, right? Our market cap is $25-30 million. So there's a lot of upside here, but the company that went into production is still a private company, and there's rumors that they'd be doing an IPO soon, but right at this stage they're a private company.
But okay, so it's interesting. So the one that's 400 million plus market cap, what's how does their kind of land package compare to yours, or what's
the land package? They've got a large land package as ours, but they've got a resource, and so they're a bit ahead of us. in terms of grades, the high grades that we're getting, they're higher than theirs. And last year or a few months ago, they were claiming they had the highest grade rare earths in the world in ionic clays. Our grades are higher than that. So we'll see what the resource calculation comes up in the next few months for us. And so basically, they're ahead of us in terms of a resource, and we hope to get there in the next few months.
Okay. But it's interesting. So but it gives us kind of an indication of what the what the potential is. I mean, these guys are 400 million. It's not like we're comparing apples to oranges. We're comparing apples to apples. It's just those apples a little more ripe than yours, but it's very similar. It's the same basic, species of apple or whatever it is, red delicious or whatever, Okay. Do you want to talk about the uranium? Because I'm excited about the uranium aspect. I think it's part of the company that's been really underappreciated. I don't think you're really getting the full value. I don't think anybody. I think when people look at the stock, they're not really valuing the uranium aspect of it, which is.
I think you're right, Jack. We're not getting much valuation or any valuation of the uranium assets.
You know what I think? I think the opportunity for investors, and might be a short-term opportunity, is. Like right now, you're in these two areas. You got rare earths, you got uranium, and I think maybe it could be investors, they like that pure play. So at some point, maybe once you get some significant traction and you develop a resource, there might be a spin out, and all of a sudden that value is unlocked. I mean, that could happen down the road. No,
that's one option. One option that we have, that a spin out or a deal, sort of deal with a different group or something. But anyway, let's talk about our uranium projects. We've got 4 projects in Saskatchewan, which are uranium projects, and we're planning to do work there. Also we have a project in Ontario, in Elliot Lake, Ontario, that we have a 4301 resource, which is about both in infer and indicator category, about 55 million pounds of uranium and about 180 million pounds of rare earths in the same ore, basically. And based on historical work there, we know we're going to be able to increase that if we won't do some more drilling, quite a bit. So like there was, before we started, there was a historical resource or estimation, call it that way, for 200 million pounds of uranium. So we did some drilling, and we were able to outline 55 million pounds of uranium, basically. So there's a lot of upside there. Now,
in plain English, this is at current prices, it's about $6 billion.
In current prices, in situ valuation in the ground, just the uranium alone, it's $6 billion, and that on top of that we have the 180 million pounds of rare earths. So I don't know what valuation you're going to do. So now the Elliot Lake area has produced over 300 million pounds of uranium. This is what we have there is the continuation of the old mines. The only thing was it's on the lower grade end, but it's a huge deposit. I think it's something like in terms of scale, world scale deposit. I think we're maybe 17, in terms of grade and in terms of resource, basically.
Really?
So yes,
so on the chart of uranium resources, your project would be number 17. Of global...
Number 17 in terms of all the world-known resources. So
that's pretty good.
So it is very exciting, especially now that the price of the spot price, the uranium price is moving up to over $100. So at over $100, this project could be very valuable to us or to a group. So, and we're not getting any, as I said, we're not getting any credit for all this.
There's a lot of, so this is what I'm saying. This is what I see as the opportunity for investors is you're kind of getting this. You're getting the uranium part for free. It's a long term. The uranium resource, 55 million pounds. This is a long term call option on uranium without any expiration date, right? So there's no expiration date.
Right, right.
Again, but you have, I mean, the uranium really would need to go for this, for people to get excited about this, maybe to what, 150 or so, and at 150, people, you know, all of a sudden become. And I think, look, last live stream I said, look, I think uranium can go to 308, $308 a pound.
Well, but anyway, let's be realistic. Let's be realistic, Jack. Okay, I think what we had when we had done the resource calculation back in 2012 or 13, we had $70 or $80 uranium price, right? We think that this project over $100, it would start to make a lot of sense. Okay, so. I mean, the outlook for uranium prices is much higher. So how much higher, we don't know. But there's definitely a shortage. You know, there's an imbalance between supply and demand right now. And you know, the other
good thing. Through the roof, Tom. We don't even have all these, you know, all the plants, all the power plants, the nuclear plants that are going to be going into production. Everybody's going to be building these mini plants. It's going to be. We're not even at the early. This is going to. There's so much more upside potential for uranium prices. I mean, we haven't even scratched the surface of where this can go. That's why I think this can go to, high, $300 is not out of the question.
Well, again, Jack, I don't know where it's going to go. We don't really know, but the
charts look amazing.
Consensus, the industry thinks that the prices are on the, they're going to go higher. The uranium price is going to go higher because of the imbalance of supply and demand. In the last week or so, there was some news coming out from Kazakhstan, and Kazakhstan is the largest producer of uranium, and they basically announced that in the next couple of years, 2-3 years, they would be reducing their output, their production by 20 or so percent, because they had some supply shortages. They had some issues, and they think that their output will be down by about 20%. So that's also pushing reducing the supply again, and it makes it very likely. Most likely that the uranium prices are going to go higher from here. And obviously, not to forget that we need all this electricity for electric vehicles, for energy.
I mean, this stuff with, people don't realize, but again, the markets are moved by things that happen at the margin, right? Mm-hmm. So it's, right now, I mean, look, electricity prices are, I don't know what they are in Toronto, but I know in the U.S. and the West Coast, they're going through the roof. I mean, the electric prices are going up. There's more and more demand, and we haven't even started with the transition to the electric vehicles. I mean, it's still in the very early stages. Only 1% of cars are EVs, maybe. We're still in the early stages, and again, that's the EVs. The AI, people haven't talked about this, but the AI is going to have. There's going to be a massive need for electricity to power all the server farms for the AI needs. I mean, the AI really is going to be a game changer, but that's down the road. That's 3-5 years down the road. So there are so many drivers for the price of uranium that's why I think, look, this is that long-term option on, Appia is that long-term option on uranium, because look, when uranium goes to $200, all of a sudden your 55 million pounds in situ is worth
12 million.
20 billion? Is it 20?
20,
is it
12
billion. Okay. 12 billion plus the rare earths might be worth whatever. Mm-hmm. So $12 billion at $200 a pound, $12 billion. And, the net present value, let's say somebody, wants to put it into production. Yeah, that might be worth for them, I don't know, a couple $100 million, no? 300-400 million.
Listen, let's not give any numbers here, because obviously we need studies for that.
No, you can't. No.
But
I'm just saying. By the way, I'm not a mining expert.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
But what I'm basically
I'm
saying is,
talking about the possibilities, and these things can
at
happen.
$200 obviously makes a lot of sense. But the the most important part, Jack, is there's the demand for electricity for uranium is going higher because the demand for electricity it's going much higher. It's going to be much higher in the next little while. With not only the electric vehicles, but there'll be electric boats and other
Everything.
equipment and all this, right? But
Yeah.
what's more important is the increase. If the uranium price doubles, let's say from here, right? That doesn't put the electricity producing companies, the nuclear plants under the business, because it's very like 1 or 2% of their costs, right? So it's not the mega. It doesn't make it or break it for them, right? So what makes it and break it is having enough electricity to go around, right? Because there are parts in the world that they're rationing electricity right now. Like they shut down the electricity for a few hours every 24 hours because they don't have enough, right? So, and the other positive for the demand for uranium is, or energy, electric energy, is the small nuclear reactors that they are developing right now. So you'll have small reactors that can be built quickly, and they can really supply electricity to remote communities, mine sites, islands, whatever, where areas that it's smaller communities. So you don't need to spend a few $billions to build a nuclear plant to produce electricity. You can get it done a lot cheaper and faster. So there's a big demand for electricity, for uranium coming up, basically because of the electricity.
Yeah, and again, Tom, let's reemphasize for the nuclear plants, the uranium as an input cost, it really doesn't make a difference to these guys whether it's $100 or it's $300, because it's a tiny piece of their cost. It's like it's really insignificant, but they can't not have it. I mean, that's the real cost. Not having the uranium is the real cost.
And the other thing is there's a lot of companies, a lot of countries are building, or companies building new reactors. Like China has announced the 100 new reactors in the next few years to be built. So there are there's going to be increased and reactors in producing electricity being built. Not only that, but some of the older reactors their life is being extended, because obviously, the demand of electricity, and we need to have electricity. So I think it's important, Jack, that people realize, or investors could look at Appia as both a call on uranium and definite rare earths. And we haven't mentioned the Alces Lake project that in Saskatchewan that we've got, that has some of the highest grade rare earths monazite in the world, basically. So and we're getting a lot of good results from the drilling that we do, and the project in Brazil, and we get our uranium assets are being revalued. Basically, it should be revalued because based on the new prices that are coming up. So for roughly 21 cents Canadian here, there's a lot of upside on this company. So that's the way I see it. Obviously, I can't foretell the future, but I think people should look at us and do their homework, and if things move go the way they are appear to be in the next little while, I think there should be some reward for investors, some great reward.
Yeah, no, I mean definitely there's multiple catalysts for upside potential, for significant upside potential. Again, we're talking about some huge possibilities, whether it's on the rare earth side, on the uranium on the uranium side, any of these are catalysts, potential catalysts for a multi-bagger upside. I mean, we're talking about a 10x, 5x, 10x upside potential. We're not, again, I'm not saying it's going there, but potentially if you get some, significant traction, you get some, there is a possibility, right? If uranium hits 150, you get, or the Rare Earths Project, you get a resource. There's a lot of catalysts up there. Tom, let's wrap up. What kind of news flow can investors expect in the next 30 days? What kind of things, what kind of milestones do you have coming up in the short term, in the next, let's call it 30 to 45 days?
We do have a lot more results from drilling down in Brazil. We've got some more results from drilling in Canada, so the Saskatchewan, the Alcy Lake project. We are, where, as I mentioned, we have hired SGS, one of the largest groups in when it comes to the process, to the assaying companies in the world, basically, and they're doing a resource calculation for the PCH project in Brazil. So that's supposed to be coming out, and I think that would make that should put a picture of what the project looks like, or the initial resource will look like, and obviously with the uranium prices moving higher and us getting involved more with the uranium project, I think we'll be getting more news from our uranium side of the business. So I think there's great. There will be a lot of news, basically, let's put it this way, coming out in the next few weeks. But more importantly, I think once this resource comes out, the estimation of the initial resource, I think this would probably get some investors or analysts to put some pen and pencil down and give us a more reasonable valuation.
Yeah, no, this is it's interesting. This is a stock for, definitely everybody should have this on their watch list right now, because there's a lot of things that could, start happening potentially in the coming weeks that could, really set things off. Okay, Tom, great to have you back on again for the update, and we look forward to catching up with you next couple of weeks. Hopefully, and the uranium prices by then could be, who knows where they could be.
Well, thank you, Jack. And I also want to take the opportunity to wish you and your audience a Happy New Year. All the very best, a healthy and very productive year.
Thank you. And for Appia shareholders as well, I think things are looking very looking very good. And the wreath, the championship wreath above your head.
I hope we're getting there. I hope we're getting there soon.
It's an omen.
Okay.
Okay. Tom, thank you again.
Thank you,
see you soon.
You take care. Bye.